Yeah. What's up, guys? This is Farouk from the African Fighters. Today we have a very, very special guest with us. He is a South African. He's undefeated. He's currently fighting at one championship. Also, 2014 Commonwealth fourth place. He won fourth place at the Commonwealth Games 2014, wrestling 57 kg. And he is no other than Bokang Little Giant Masunyane. Hope I got the name right. I'm Nigerian.
Yes, that's right, brother.
Very great. Welcome to the show.
No, you got it right. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me, my brother.
Thank you for your time as well. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Your story is well documented. We talk about your journey as a young boy, having a rough upbringing. So tell us about your story a little bit briefly and how you go into MMA. So before MMA, you went to wrestling, competed at the Commonwealth Games in Glasgow, and then switching to MMA.
Okay, cool. So yeah, basically, I was born in Lesotho. It's a country actually within South Africa, within the South African borders. The borders are used as mountains. And from then, I never knew my mother, I never knew my father. And so I had to move from Lesotho with my aunt. And yeah, I ended up living in an orphanage from around the age of 5, as far as I remember. And from then, I decided to actually join wrestling while I was in the orphanage. And I actually found a passion. It was one of my favorite things to do, it kept me from being naughty, it was actually a blessing in disguise for me. And one of the tournament, my previous wrestling coach, who is a Russian coach now, or who was a Russian coach, he actually wanted to adopt me at first because he realized my talent of wrestling. And yeah, from then he actually got parents to look after me, to adopt me. And, they after a few years, he decided to move back to Russia, and so my wrestling, I didn't carry on so far with my wrestling, but I was able to do the Commonwealth Games. And yeah, and then I came fourth with the Commonwealth Games, and I still wanted to pursue my wrestling career. But it's actually, as you know, in South Africa or in Africa in general, it's very hard to make a living out of wrestling or mostly Olympic sports. And I decided to try teaching. Actually, I was an intern for a year, and I decided I'm actually
Was it physical education? Sports, right? Teaching sports or
So no. So it was actually I was helping with the rugby teams with their fitness and everything. But then I also wanted to become an art teacher. So I started working as an intern for technology and educational technology. So I wanted to switch on into art, but I decided, look, I still have a passion for fighting. I really still love it. In that case, the closest thing from wrestling was mixed martial art. I told my dad, look, my adopted dad, look, I really want to try this out. I still have the fire in me to do it. And he said, look, it's a tough decision that I'm doing, but he said he had my support. He said, whatever I choose in life, I must just do it properly. And then that's when I transitioned into mixed martial arts. And I had my 6 fights within a year or so. And then from then,
amateur fight, right?
Amateur fight. Yes. Okay. And then from then I switched straight into pro. And since then I've been fighting, basically I've not been defeated, which is good. Now I'm 8-0 as a pro mixed martial artist fighter. Yeah. And now my next thing, I'm fighting the number 2 contender, which is the title eliminator fight. And the winner basically gets to fight the champion. One championship, basically. Yeah.
Awesome.
So
awesome.
Basically
story.
my journey. Yeah.
Yes, a rough one, but we thank God for everything. You're here today. I would say you are an inspiration to a lot of people back home in South Africa and also the whole of Africa as well. I read somewhere where you said you got your nickname from your school teacher, Little Giant.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, and he was talking
Yes,
about
that's
writing a
right.
book about your story. So
Yes,
walk us
and
through that a
so
little bit.
yeah, so basically, um, this is my high school teacher, and after I got adopted, I moved to Pretoria in South Africa, where um, I moved into a new school. And so the school that I was in previously had no sports or anything like that. So in my new school, I went to one of the camps and then I wrestled. Oh, the teacher knew actually that I wrestled,
Okay.
but some of the students didn't know, which were I was still grade 9 back then, and those were the matric boys, grade 12 boys. And he told any of those boys, if they can take me down, I don't remember what he promised them, but he
Okay.
told them that you can never take this guy down. This guy will take you down, you know. And I was obviously the smallest guy in not just in the school, yeah, not just in class, but in the whole school, you know.
Wow.
And yeah, so I wrestled with a few of those guys, and they just couldn't believe it. Like, oh, you're so little, and you're throwing us around. And there's one of the guys, yeah, one of the guys couldn't even believe it. So he came back for more. Like, no, it's impossible. Then I'll throw him with something else. And he's like, no, no, let's go again, you know, and so forth. And yeah, I grew fond of the teacher, and he's basically been my mentor since I've been in that school. And he found my story also quite inspiring. And he really thought, look, for a small guy, very strong, and he's strong-hearted. And he decided, look, one day I'll write a book
Write a
about
book.
you called Little Giant.
Yes.
And then I thought it was a joke, you know. I thought it was just something that he's saying, you know, just to be nice, or just for fun. And as soon as I started fighting, I needed a nickname, a fight name. So I decided, you know what, I'm gonna use that Little Giant name because it sounds quite cool. You
Sound
know,
great.
I had different options, but Little Giant just, you know, hit the spot.
Perfect.
From then on, yeah, and then from then on, I decided, no, I'm gonna use Little Giant as my fight name.
Okay.
And yeah, we decided, crazy enough, a few years into fighting, then he came back to me and it's like, hey, we're still gonna write that book. You know, I'm still interested in writing the story
Story.
of your life, which is quite nice. Yeah.
Fantastic. I was about asking you that. Are you guys still in touch? Which is good to know. You are still in contact with him.
Yes, he's been my mentor,
Okay.
leadership wise. You know, he's one of the greatest leaders that I've ever met, and you know, just learning from him and getting advice from him has been a blessing in my life.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Hopefully, when you get a title, it will be a perfect time to put that book together.
Oh yes, hopefully by that
Yes.
time the book is
It'll be
completed.
perfect to put the
Yeah.
whole story together. Yeah, what a
Oh yeah,
journey.
it'll be a nice story to tell.
Yes, yes. But have you ever thought of going to the Olympics after the Commonwealth Games, or you just felt like you said, I can't go forward
Yeah.
with this. Let me switch. Was Olympic
So
a dream?
even way before that, the goal was to become a world champion at wrestling, and it
Oh,
was to become an Olympic champion. You know, I really had a passion with it, and actually, as a kid, I lacked a lot of confidence, and but my coach, my Russian coach, was the one to to boost my confidence, and
mm,
the way he coached me and the way he worked with me actually helped me to see that goal, to have that goal in sight. And
okay.
I always told myself I want to be a champion, a world champion while he's alive, so I can show that that part of his work has gotten me to where I am. So it's always been a goal of mine. But as soon as I switched to mixed martial arts, I knew the goal mustn't change. I still want to become a world champion,
Yeah.
and I'm very close to that goal.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome. I'm just trying to look at some few information here about you. And
Yeah.
so switching to MMA, how has that journey been for you? You went 6-0 as an amateur and then progressed straight to EFC in South Africa, one of the biggest MMA promotion in Africa. So and you went 6-0. before moving to
Yes.
5-0, right? Before moving to Pancrase in Japan, and then moving to One.
Yeah.
So how
Yes,
has that
yes.
journey been for you, and how was it for you in South Africa in EFC?
Oh yes.
The learning
So
process,
when
the
I moved
growth.
to
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. When I decided to transition to MMA, I knew back then MMA was one of the hardest sports. You know, you learn to do all the martial art
Martial
disciplines,
arts, yes.
wrestling, yes, or BJJ, kickboxing, Muay Thai. So you learn all of that, and it's really hard. You know, you have to put in at least three or more sessions a day, and but not a lot of people are willing to do that. To be honest, when I also started in mixed martial arts, I didn't know how much training it will take. But all I knew is that I was gonna try to stick to it because
Okay.
it's that's where I saw myself. You know, I saw myself in the mat and competing as a fighter. And yeah, the first 2 years were very tough. You know,
Okay.
the decision I made was to actually stay at the gym for 2 years
Okay.
and train out of the gym because I
Full time?
knew yes,
Full
yes,
time,
yeah.
wow.
So yes, I literally dropped everything I had, the work I had and everything, and I just decided, okay, I'm gonna give it a chance, you know. And within those 2 years, that's when I became 2 times amateur champion, and from then I basically moved up to as a pro fighter into EFC, and I fought my way up, and just before the title fight, I got an injury. So I was supposed to fight for the title in EFC against one of the top contenders. His name is Zulu Boy, or that time the champion at that time.
Yes.
And yeah, unfortunately, I had an injury, and that had to stop for a while. And after a while,
Was that
I signed in
2018?
with
You didn't fight for the whole year. I think that's
yes,
2018. Yes. Okay.
yes, yeah. And then from then, I actually signed with MTK, one of the
I
mixed
know
martial arts.
MTK. Yes.
Yes, yes,
Management.
yeah. So I signed with them, and they got me into Pancrase in Japan, and I've had my first fight there, and that's when it kind of stood out to the rest of the world. You know, in Africa, they kind of knew me as in EFC and
Yes,
everywhere else.
within the continent, not globally.
Yes. So yes, yeah, I was very well known within the continent, but I was still not known globally. And that first fight in Japan, where I fought in Pancrase, I think that's when my name started exploding. You know, and started being known in the MMA.
Okay.
And straight from then, I got a contract with One FC, which was like the biggest goal, or that's any African kid's dream, you know, to be either in one of the top promotions, and which is nice now. There's so much more big promotions, but back then it was UFC and One FC, which were
UFC,
the biggest
Bellator, One
promotion.
FC, the top three.
Yes, it was just those three back then, and for me to get into One FC, I knew this was a once in a lifetime opportunity, you know. And
I think we're going to touch on that more as we progress, because currently I think you're only 2 Africans or 3 Africans in One FC. So I'll ask a question about that later on. I don't want to disrupt the format of the interview. So my question is, I think you're familiar with another UFC flyweight, Manel Kape, who was a rising champion. Yeah,
yes,
I saw somewhere on your record that you were supposed to fight Manel Kape at some point in time at AFC.
Yeah,
but that didn't happen. Right. He went to Rising. Was that legit? Is it a fact?
Yes, actually, that was a legit fight. You know, we were getting ready to sign the fight and everything, and I had accepted it on my side. So we were waiting for him on his side, but then Risen, he ended up signing with Risen, which I think was a smart idea. You know, was also one of the big promotions then, and I think it was safer for him because I think I would have been able to, you know. Yes, I'm quite confident on that. And yeah, he's a very big trash talker. But look for how far he's became and how far he's
he went there to become a champion. He won the championship and then went to the UFC. Yes.
100%. So he's done well for himself, you know. So just other than taking that out as an African fighter to another African fighter, you know, he's doing well. Big ups, King, and
Yes.
yeah.
And after that, like you mentioned, the fight with Zulu could not happen because of the injury, the nail injury, right?
Yeah.
So that's two setbacks. So now they say the third time the charm. So this time around, hopefully, we defeat Brooks and also get the champion against Joshua. But before we go into that in detail, again, I just want to go step by step. Tell me your relationship with your brother, your friend, Don Maj, and also the Mad Fit gym.
Okay, yeah.
So, yeah.
So yeah, my brother, he's my adopted brother. He's now a rugby player, you know, and we always had a strong bond from the first day actually that they came to fetch me from the orphanage. He was very young, as far as I remember. I think he was still like 5 years old or something.
Okay.
And he's like, yeah. Then he says to back then, before he became my dad, he's like, yo, he's so short. You know, like, you know, and then we started laughing about him in the car and everything. And like since then we really had it's almost like my dad explained it well to him that, hey, we're adopting this guy, he's gonna become part of the family and everything. And we just hit it well. We trained together most of the times, mornings before school. He was still in primary school back then. And he was so dedicated to wake up with me in the morning, go for a run and just train. So, you know, it was something special. And he's recently finished his matric and now he's going to be playing rugby. So he's doing quite well on his side. And then my relationship with Medford, before that, I was actually at Fight Fit in Johannesburg, under Coach Kwan University. And obviously moved from Joburg to Cape Town because of the COVID situation and everything. So I needed to spend time with my family, which were in Cape Town. And I got offered to come train at Medford, which was quite nice because they also affiliated with Coach Kwan University in Joburg. So we work on the same training system. And yeah, and I also got along very well with the guys in Medford. One of the head coaches, he's a boxing coach, Matt Leishan. He helped me a lot with my stand up. We had a guy, does Muay Thai, Wade Hammond. He actually helped me also with my stand-up, my kicks, and crazy enough, that knockout kick that I got on my last fight was also with all his work, you know, all his pad work and all the game planning, basically. Everything that happened in that fight went to game plan. I just didn't expect it to happen so quick. Yeah, so it showed what kind of good coach I had there. And then I had a good jiu-jitsu coach, Prof Hoff, who's helped me with the ground game and all that, best training partner, Wade Crispy. So I really got along with everyone within Medford. I felt like I was at home. And I've only been with them for just over a year and a half now.
Wow.
And yeah.
I thought you've been with them for a long time. I thought it's a long time relationship.
Oh wow. No, so it's really been a very short period of time. I was able to get on just as well. And now we've got Don Match, one of the South African fighters fighting in PFL. Yeah, which is quite nice. Yes. So we're currently both on a training camp leading up to our next fights. Yeah. So he fights on the 20th of April and I fight on the 22nd of April. So literally 2 days after he fights.
Yes. So how is your relationship with Don Maj? How I see he posts you a lot on his Instagram. He gives you shout outs. Like the relationship is very just fantastic to see. So
yes,
how
yeah.
do you him as a person and as a friend? How is he to you?
I've known Don for very long actually. He was in Medford and then he also moved to train in Fightford for a while, or at Coach Kwan University for a while. And then we both moved back to Cape Town. But he offered me to go train in Cape Town. Yes. And he's really like he's someone I really look up to because that's also he's a partner in that gym, so that's part of his gym, Medfit. And he's the type of leader you look up to because he's doing it right, you know. He's an athlete and he's a coach and he runs a gym, you know.
Yes.
It's something we need to aspire to. And they say if you put yourself close to successful people, you become one of them also. And he's very hardworking, man.
Yes.
To be honest, one of the hard workers, most hardest workers I know. And you know, he's got a child, he's got everything running a gym and all that, and he's still able to do it, you know, without complaint. And he's just got nerves of steel, man. And look,
awesome.
It's like something I also look up to.
Yeah, sorry for cutting you there. Like you said, he's also going to be competing the PFL season for the lightweight championship. It's going to be fantastic to see a lot of African fighters this year bring the belt home.
Yes, awesome. And he's one of the top talent in Africa. So it's for me, it's an honor to be working around him, working next to him. So hopefully by the end of the year, you'll see 2 champions coming out of Medfit.
Hopefully, by God's grace. Yeah. So now we'll talk about your fight properly at one. I think you have 2 fights at one so far. And you fight, the first guy was Sawada, I think Japanese. And you dominated that guy from start to finish. He at a point in time he didn't want to be in that fight. He wanted the fight to be over, but you didn't let him go. You wanted to make a statement and show them that I'm here and I'm right here to take over. So
that's right. So as soon as I got into ONE FC, they offered me that fight, and he was on a 3 winning streak. So I knew it's gonna be a tough fight. You know, it's not just a walkover. So I got in there and told myself, I'm gonna give him hell. You know, I'm gonna show him how it's done in the jungle. You know. And I just went there and just gave it all, man. I just
several times he tried to take you down, you reverse the takedown.
He had very good hands, good takedowns, but I just figured a way to win in there. And that got me to fight the number 3
guy who was supposed to fight for the belt. I think his name is Rene Catalan, the guy you knocked out in the first round. So the highlight that went across the world within hours. So walk us through that process. Tell us about the highlights. And because I believe in the fight you attempted that kick earlier, seconds before. But you didn't get it, it didn't connect. And you mentioned just before some minutes back that you were practicing for that technique going into the fight.
Yes.
So walk us through the whole process.
So what happened is I normally use my striking to set up takedowns, and that has always been my game plan. Starting with fights, and now everyone knew how good my takedowns were. So everyone is aware that I'm gonna look for takedowns. I'm gonna try to shoot. So what I had to learn was to also not just set up my takedowns with striking, but set up my strikings also with takedowns. You know, fake for to make contact, and on that break try to throw a strike, kick, or hands. And which is something we practiced. We went over and over at the gym. Either I'm throwing the kick, or I'm throwing hands, or I'm making contact again. And I actually threw that kick a bit earlier, but I just missed. And a few seconds later, I was able to connect the kick, which became my first knockout ever. And amateur and pro. So it was something great for me. The video went viral, which was quite good for me. Yes. So it became good advertising for me, and not just for myself, you know, but for African mixed martial arts. The idea for me is to open the gate for mixed martial arts in Africa. You know, I think the world is still sleeping on Africa in a lot of stuff, and I believe Africans will produce the most or the best athletes in the world.
Yeah, currently happening in the UFC now at the moment, 3 African champions. So more to come.
Yes, and more to come. Now we have Dawn at PFL, we have Dricus, We have Dimat
Yes.
back now in action, Temba Karimbo. So,
Yes.
you know,
UAE
champion
Warriors.
Dalcha.
Yes.
Yeah. So we've got a lot of guys, you know, coming up
We
now.
spoke to the Matty Pena 2 days ago, 3 days ago. He was really giving you props. He was saying, watch out for Bokang. Say, watch out for this guy.
Yes.
He's going to
Yeah.
dominate.
I've actually trained with them for a while
Okay.
at Coach Kwan University back then.
Okay.
Yeah, he was one of the guys that I actually took on and tried to follow his ways. You know, he's also one of the hardest training guys I know.
Yes.
Man. Yo,
Yes.
there's times where I just couldn't keep up, but it was so nice to see that there's
Same.
someone that just as hungry as Dimat is, man. Yo,
I think for me,
it's
I regard
amazing,
him as one of
man.
the pioneer in Africa MMA.
Oh
Now,
yes.
put aside the
Yeah.
controversy, he is, for me, among
Yeah.
the top 4 or top 3 greatest of all time in Africa. At the
Oh
moment,
yes,
I know more to
definitely.
come. People
Yeah,
like you are going to come and
yeah.
take the position in the few. But for now, I think I so much respect to the Matip now. He has
Oh
done
yes,
it, and
and the
I'm also
fact
an
that
inspiration to younger
he's
fighters.
coming.
Yeah.
Oh yes, that's right. And the fact that he's coming back from
Yes.
all this controversy and
Yes.
he's still working hard, man. I look at
Yes.
his
Yes.
social media stuff. I sent him
Yes.
messages, speak a lot,
Yes.
and he's doing well for himself.
Yes.
It's really amazing to see that, and he's also fighting soon, which is quite exciting. I believe it's exciting for a lot of African fighters to see Dimat back in action.
Yes. Yes. On 16th of April, the Matipena fighting Kelo Lapilus for the bantamweight title RSFC. Yeah. Talking about your knockout, the highlight reel. What was the takeaway from that knockout, from that fight? Like, you've not fought for 2 years now. 2020, that was the last time you fought.
Yeah.
Not a year plus, not 2 years.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
what takeaway from that fight? How motivated are you going into your next fight?
So every time every fight I take serious, you know. You can't take any fight, especially at this level. You can't just take any fight like it's just walking in the park. And after my last fight, it built a lot of confidence for me. You know, the fact knowing that I've got a knockout power, which I never knew I had. I think it's also the fact that I've been fighting bigger guys, and now in ONE FC you get to fight guys your size. So it's giving me that awareness of knowing that I can knock people out, I can wrestle them out, and it has boosted my confidence quite a lot. I know going up to this fight against Jared Brooks, he's a very tough contender, and he's a very good American wrestler. He also has a wrestling background. But you know, I'm not there to take part. At the end of the day, I'm there to get the title shot. I'm there to wanna be. Yes, I'm there for the takeover. I wanna be the world champion, and at the moment, Jared Brooks is in my way. You know, so in order for me to get closer to that title, is for me to beat Jared Brooks, and that's the goal. The goal is to go out there and just go perform at my best level, and just to show my presence, to show my dominance within my division. I don't just want to be a champ. I want to go through the whole division, and Jared is the guy in front of me right now, so I'm gonna go through him in order to get to that world champion title.
Yeah. Okay. Talking about Jared now, he's 18-2. So far in his pro career, fought in the UFC, fought at Pancrase, fought at Ryzen, and he has competed at the highest. I would say he has a vast experience. Yeah. So and he's currently on a 5-fight winning streak. He's coming into this fight with a lot of confidence, and I saw some publications, some article where he's already talking about fighting Joshua. So it kind of looks like he's overlooking you at the moment. He's talking about the champ, not knowing he has to go through the #1 contender, which is you.
Yeah.
So what do you say to him in that regards? Or how do you feel seeing someone kind of overlooking you, or thinking he's going to be a walk in the park?
Yeah, so if he's overlooking me, that's the biggest mistake he's doing, I believe. Every guy that has fought, after a while, you can see that disappointment in their face while they fight me, going into the second or third round, knowing that, oh shit, I'm in a fight now, you know. And the fact that I come from South Africa or I come from Africa, they think there's no MMA, but the MMA is growing in Africa and it's growing big. And so they don't understand every time they walk in with me until they get into that cage, until they close the door, until we start fighting. Then they realize, oh shit, this guy's a real deal. And if Garrett Brooks is sleeping on me, then he's in big trouble, you know. And I think it's either he doesn't want to speak of me because he knows what I'm capable of, or he's very ignorant on my ability. And I think that's gonna be a very big mistake he'll be doing. So yeah.
Okay.
Other than that, I just hope he's ready on the day because
It's
I'm
ready.
yeah.
We'll come wait for this fight. We'll come wait for the fight. Talking about Jared as well. No, talking about I have a question in my mind, but just escaped my mind. Just
no,
yeah, but, oh, I missed the question. So going forward now, with this fight, the contender fight, the next fight would be for the title. Yeah, I got the question back. It's back now. So my question is, what is your plan? Without giving so much away, what is your strategy going to this fight? Are you going to go with the wrestling to dominate? Like you say, he's a good wrestler as well. Are you going with the plan of going to dominate, or also look for another knockout, another highlight reel in this fight?
Yeah, so in every fight, my game plan for every fight is to prepare for all 3 rounds. You know, if I know I can fight for 3 rounds nonstop, 15 minutes straight, which I'm fighting for that. So I always prepare to go to full round war. But when the knockout opportunity presents itself, I'm gonna take it. When the submission opportunity presents itself, I'm gonna take it. And we both, myself and Gerald, are both wrestlers, you know. So of course I'm gonna respect his wrestling. I'm gonna be very careful on whatever I do. But it'll be dumb of him not to respect my wrestling also. And he's got powerful striking. I've seen from his last few videos, but I believe I've never been knocked down, so I believe I've got a strong chin. But I believe my speed and movement is gonna be a very big factor leading up to this fight.
Fantastic, fantastic. Yeah. Champ, talking about, I don't want us to dream too far. Or like you fighters say all the time, I'll take it step by step, one after the other. But as Africans, we believe you go past Gerard easy. I'll fight Joshua Casio for the title. Another top fight as well. I think he has defended the title 4 times. So beating Joshua for the Strawweight championship is going to be history in the making. It's going to be fantastic. It's going to be the first African. You're going to be the first African by the grace of God to be a champion at one championship. No one has done it before. So, so what would you say? Most fighters are always dreaming of the bigger league, the UFC. Your friend as well, Don also fought in the UFC before going to PFL. So UFC is seen as the ultimate. So do you have that vision in your mind to go to UFC along the at some point in time? What's the vision?
Crazy enough, only when I really started with mixed martial arts, my goal was always getting to UFC, you know. Until I learned that there's other promotions around the world, and the fact that I got into one was amazing for me.
Sure.
To be honest, I haven't looked at as far as going to the UFC. Right now, at this moment, I'm looking as far as becoming a world champion. And of course, depending on what opportunities I get from the UFC or for in that case from any other promotion. But I believe ONE FC that's for me, and that's from my own opinion, they are one of the best mixed martial art promotion. The fact that they've got Muay Thai within the same day as mixed martial art, they've got BJJ, they've got the special rules now with Mighty Mouse and Rotang. So for me, that's it cannot get any better than that. And of course, as a mixed martial art, sometimes you just want to test certain skills of yours. Maybe one day I also do this special rule fights, you know, or maybe one day I just do the BJJ fights. You know, so there's so much more that I believe ONE FC is offering than UFC. And honestly, I'm quite happy with where I am, unless UFC will offer me something incredible out of this. But yeah, we'll see what the future also has for me, you know.
Yeah. So aside the different rules, the different opportunity, Muay Thai, kickbox, MMA, what about the pay? Are you comfortable with the pay at one?
Oh yes, look, that's the biggest thing, you know. UFC were the only guys that had the power back then to pay the fighters well. But now there's so much more bigger promotions that are doing that. ONE FC is doing it.
Okay.
Bellator is doing it.
Yeah.
PFL is doing it. You know, so it's not more just the UFC that pays the fighters what they deserve to be paid. And at the end of the day, it's being able to make a living, and
Sure.
the other promotion are giving us that opportunity, which is very nice. Yeah.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Yeah. Like I said earlier, I said I'll touch on this later on. I think you are two or three African fighters are currently at one championship. I think we'll have another guy called Umar Kane. He's fighting on the same card as well. Rogrod.
Oh wow.
Reg is fighting
Oh,
on.
Ragab, yes,
Yes,
I know him very well.
the Senegalese. So I
Yeah,
think, and I'm the third person I can't remember. I'm not very sure, two or three fighters. So
yeah,
how do you feel knowing you are representing the whole continent? The two or three
yeah.
fighters. How does it
Look, it's a bit of pressure, you know, knowing that it's only so few African fighters in that promotion. But this is another way to open a gate for more African fighters to come. What other way for me to be that person to do that? You know, for me, that's a lot of gratitude for me. You know, the fact that some African fighter is watching me at ONE FC and thinking, damn, I want to be like that guy, or I also want to be in ONE FC because of that guy. You know, Africans are doing well because of this guy. So for me, I'm really there to represent, you know, to make sure that the world sees how good African fighters are. And yeah, I want to be one of the best fighters in the world. So ONE FC has granted me this opportunity to become one of the best fighters in the world. I want to inspire a lot of Africans to get involved into mixed martial arts. You know, I want to inspire future generations to maybe one day they'll be speaking of me and be like, yeah, this was the first guy to be an African champion. You know, they're like, yeah, he's opened the gates for Africa. That's what I want to do. And hopefully I get that opportunity to do that.
Sure. So the next question is still on this. What do you think African fighters need to do to get to one? I feel there's a barrier. I don't know if one are not willing to sign a lot of African fighters. What will you say was your techniques to get to one? Or do you think they're still looking for top fighters to bring to one? Because most fighters will want watching on TV, they want to get to one. From Senegal, Nigeria, South Africa, but we can see just only two or three fighters, which is kind of shocking in a way, but what do you need to do to get to Singapore?
Look, I believe that's with any promotion, you know.
Okay.
If you attract what the promotion wants, ONE FC is not about, you know, trash talking, or it's not about, you know, trying to show off what kind of a cool guy you are, or the point is to be yourself and to respect mixed martial arts in general, you know.
Sure.
And even though you're a respected fighter, it's hard to get into any big promotion, but there is an opportunity to get into those promotions. But it's also the type of person you are, the type of personality they're looking for. You know, I believe ONE FC is very respectful when it comes to that, and
yes,
I can consider myself.
It's very sorry for cutting you, champ. I don't mean to come in. I say it's very visible. We can see that on the social media. ONE FC promotes respect, promotes that respect. Everyone after going to war, you see the two fighters embracing themselves, shaking, paying respect to each other. So very good to see. Instead of having fighters attacking themselves outside the cage, we don't want to go into the detail more. You don't want to see that happening.
So that's how it is, you know. Of course, saying that like Conor McGregor, for example, he's a showboat.
Yeah.
And that's how he became the best. He
Sure.
became the best by doing what he does best,
Sure.
that's his style of game. But now every fighter is trying to do that.
The same.
And the truth is you don't have to do that. There's so much more promotions to get into.
Yeah.
One FC are not looking for the Conor McGregors. They're just looking for the best fighters in the world, the best
skills,
martial art. Yeah. So you mustn't just have the fighting skills, but you must also have the human skills. You must have respect. You must have, you must be a true mixed martial artist. And that, as Africans, we know how to behave ourselves, or we know the values of respect and everything. So why don't we just use that and just go out there and go fight as the type of person you are, not trying to try to be someone else. Just go there and fight as an African warrior, show your respect and do what you do best. And that's the best advice I'll give into getting into bigger promotion. And that's not just with one, but with any other promotion around the world.
Awesome. Thank you. Although you almost touched everything I wanted to add, the last question is about your advice for upcoming fighters, but you kind of said that already. They should be respectful, be disciplined, and also put the skills together. Is there anything you want to add? Is there anything you want to add?
Yeah.
Upcoming fighters who are
for the upcoming fighters, they must just understand it's not a quick thing, You don't just jump in and all of a sudden you want to get into the biggest promotion and everything. I started martial arts in general when I was 6 years old. That's when I started doing wrestling and everything. And there's a lot of guys, the guys that are in the UFC from South Africa or in the bigger promotion, they've also started martial arts from young age, either doing Muay Thai, either doing kickboxing, either doing boxing. They've been doing it for long, and it's been a progress, So for the young fighters, you have to be patient. I've seen guys that come into the gym for 2 weeks, like, I want to be fighters, talented guys, and then 2 weeks later they're out of it because they're like, we're not getting fight. This is too hard. Training every day like this, and that's part of the progress of getting into the big leagues, and it takes a lot of patience and a lot of hard work and a little bit of luck, and it goes a long way. Respect every single coach that gives you advice. You gotta respect that from start, and that's one way to do it. It's just about being really patient and being very well disciplined.
Thank you very much, for that. So last thing for me, before I let you go, we wish you all the very best April 22nd against Gerald Brooks, the number one contender fight, or the title eliminator fight, whichever way you want to put it. I pray you get another highlight reel knockout and then get the shots against Joshua Pasio for the strawweight title. Thank you very much. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you, brother. From my side, thank you very much for having me. Thank you.
Any closing words? Anything you want to share? Social handles? Anything you want to say? The stage is yours.
So please follow me on my Instagram, littlegiant_BK, and I'll be having news for my next fight or for any other fight that's coming up. And hope you guys support me. And it's time to. Yes, you can watch my fight at under the One Championship channel on YouTube, or you can download the One Championship app. That's where you'll basically find all the schedules and everything leading up to the fight. It's a free app, and most of the fights are free, so you're more than welcome to download that app. It has a lot of good news, and there's games and everything, articles, news on fights. So it's a very, very handful app to download. And thank you so much for having me once again. I really appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Thank you. Have a nice day. Thank you for your time. We really appreciate it.
Same to you too. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.